I can tell you, I'm sure all of you can agree, this has been a very interesting month. And already I am noticing, especially over the last few weeks, moving into this energy, gearing up, getting ready to read the Divine Masculines updates. I did see a lot of correlating energy where it was directly crossing over. And we're going to get into the reasons why and potentially what is going on with this situation. So, for those of you that don't know, I am your host, Yildiz from Yildiz Readings. We are changing things about. Apologies, I'm doing my best during Mercury's transit. My birth chart is lit up like a Christmas tree. It has not been fun by any means. Those of you that don't know who I am a psychic medium. I cover astrology, soul coaching, and we are going to look at this read from two perspectives. First, from the perspective, which this is really going to land, of the divine masculines, and secondary from how their energy is being exhibited towards you, what their intentions and their feelings are. Now, we are going to briefly look at the cards to get the context. Now, it was really strange because for some reason, as I was uploading these, they kept crossing over. And it was almost like the divine masculine's energy was the divine feminine's, the divine feminine's was the divine masculine's. And anytime I thought it was resolved, it would happen again. And I was like, there's something to this. There's something in this energy. The next stage when I was attempting to upload these, they came up transparent. And I think that's quite unique in that when you do have a Mercury retrograde and even the shadow direct, I tend to find it's the weeks leading into it, smack bang as we're hitting it in that stationary degree. And as it's moving direct, you kind of find the biggest exposures, muck-ups, mishaps, that they come about. And I want you guys to pay very close attention to this because I do think it does have something to do with it. And I do feel that in the context for them personally, I think they're going to have some revelations about, and there is a mother involved. There is a woman involved. There is a connection involved in the circumstance. Now, does this have to be to do with the karmic? No, not at all. This can be to do with an old situation. But both of you, for divine feminine and divine masculine, you do actually have a crowning energy that almost looks similar. So go and tell me, what you think about it when you do go and watch the divine feminine. I'm sure more stories will come through there. So I do think there is something to do with this could be a child, this could be a feminine energy, this could be a parent and ex. I think it's something that's crowding this person's thought process. They are looking at the future. They are wondering what to do with this circumstance. Now, we're going to give you a close-up view in the context of who this maiden is. I'm going to go back and look, this rabbit, something new came at the beginning of the month. They're wondering where this is at. They're wondering what this is. There might have been, to a degree, they could be looking in at this situation as a person is an innocent, because we do see the crown that is going around the head and butterflies and something transformed, and it's almost like, I don't know why I'm hearing this. It's like pigs could fly, like something has transformed. I already want to go into clarifying, but I'm going to hold off on that because it's like, okay, all good things come to those that wait. And that is another thing I feel as though divine masculine is waiting for something. They're going into the abyss of the Neptunian energy, which is the dream. It's the could this be? Should this be? It's very almost fogged, like they're wanting to see the clarity of the situation, but they can't quite see. They're wiping their glasses. They're trying to look into it to see if they actually can use their sixth sense to decipher between what is true and what is false. There is a major decision that they're wanting to make in the context of this. And I think this is a pivotal point in their life. They could be actually looking back to wise counsel. They might be seeking an individual. They could have put something on a back burner. And that might have been because at that point in time, they felt that was what was wise. But it does appear to be in this retrograde, something is coming back and it's asking them to still be wise. It's asking them to go back to double check. Because in the heart of it, there is a big question mark here. And I do think this is a context of a personal situation that divine masculine is going through that directly can be impacting And I don't think it's their ability, because I do feel they're moving forward. I just feel there's some secret that's being exposed here, and they might have gone into second guessing themselves, going back into, okay, you win some, you lose some, but I think they're going into this integrity setting, because we do have in the heart of it knowing, it can be knowing what is right from wrong, but I feel this is about a situation that is above, that is linking to this individual, which we will investigate who this individual is. Now, we do have we do have this person feeling as though they may have stepped back from a circumstance, and for that reason they feel things cooled down. But again, it is preventing this movement. It is preventing this acceleration. They're going back to the sage. They're going back to the scribe. It's funny because, for a long time, I always believed the stork was a birth energy. And it's quite funny because, we see it as flying through, and it's got the baby in a cradle, so to speak, and it's offering it, but it actually is linked to the planet of war. And there's two people here in a face-off, maybe through wisdom, through growth, divine masculine walked away. There is somebody peeking in the middle here. This could effectively be divine feminine, but there's spirituality that's pouring out of this. And it has been because they're growing, they're ascending, they're looking at things differently. I feel they're ready to address this in a different way. Now, this by no means has anything to do with jealousy. They don't want this to be based on greed. They don't want this to be based on jealousy. They don't even know what is real and what is false. But what they do know is they are absolutely fed up of fighting. They want to know the reality of something, because they feel it's a little bit like how can I explain it? To them, it feels like something keeps coming back to haunt them. And so they just want to tidy up that blow. They just want to know what the outcome is. We're going to go into clarifying, and then we are going to come back in the context of this, because this person, it could be that it looks like they're showing no fight, but I think they're meditating upon this, and I think they could be waiting to play their next move. It feels a little bit like chess to me. They do have some cards up their sleeve, some not so transparent, so they do have some moves up their sleeve. But again, they are getting really fed up. We're going to go into clarifying to see who this individual is and how this can be impacting the circumstance moving forward. For me, the way I'm seeing it at the moment, the first message I get is it can be, especially with Jupiter retrograde, crap coming up to do with families. This could be a sibling, it could be a child, it could be an ex, a brother, something to do with family. Family, children. It could even be the person who's bringing the bearer of bad news, the innocent situation. Yeah, this is to do with those things I mentioned. We've got the yellow chakra. At the moment, it's in the upright, so it is being called to be addressed. There is a question mark also in the 7 energy. This could be to do with wealth, money, what will happen moving forward, and also, any more investigation that they wish to do. Okay, any more clarifiers? Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, they're actually being called not to go into the lull of, how could you call it? We've had 2 cards drop out. Don't make a decision based on guilt or what you think you should do, for it is only going to be true to yourself that you can truly be true to others. It's like I feel divine masculine wants to know the truth of a circumstance of the past. And although they have been grappling with this and wondering where it is, how it stands, paperwork in general, having a conversation, looking at it from a professional point of view. They thought it was out and it was cold and it was gone, whatever this is, but it's come back up again. It's come back up for a revisit, especially relating to the past. Okay, so how are they relating to this circumstance, please? And They don't know what is the truth, and so they're going to have to go back in and dig a bit harder. I don't know if it's harder, it's just how far to take it. Okay, there's three. Yeah, it's like two's company, three's a crowd. They're tired of the interferences. Okay, are they going to address this, please? I think at the moment, yeah, there's also almost like a process in which they're looking at, and they're like, if I don't fix this, this is going to come back up again. I'm going to need to address this. They're trying to get the strength and information, because it does feel as though they're going to need to talk to somebody who has more expertise to help them through this circumstance, because it does feel quite complex. Okay, a letter is going to be coming in. I do feel this is going to be music to their ears. But they're also wanting to cross their T's and dot their I's, because they know how this goes about. We're going to have a look at this outcome card. Why they're feeling. Okay, it's not to do with jealousy. Interesting. They don't want other people around them to misunderstand the reasons why maybe they need to address this circumstance. They don't want to cause any insecurities. Already divine feminine's energies coming through here. There also could be wealth associated to this, so there could be financial entanglement. Again, this is not financial advice by any means. And they're like that. They feel one way. They feel if they don't do something, it's going to cost them a lot. So they're going to have to do something. And they're tired of this despair. They're tired of this back and forward. Therefore, they're ready to confront a karmic situation. We're going to go into looking at this now in the context of, how this is directly impacting the twin flame connection and what they have to say about that. I do feel the first point of call is they're frustrated. Every time they feel they're very much on the precipice of change and shifting and wanting to address it, it does appear to be that something comes out of the blue. And although what they may not know is these things are now, between now and 2026, wrapping up for good, they want to tie that up in a neat little bow, and they're absolutely fed up. And it does feel it's almost like part of their ascension process where they're owning their physical power and asserting themselves and closing that karmic cycle. And this is quite a bold. Okay, what is at the heart of this, please? Relating to A, the divine masculine's ascension process, and B, to do with how they're actually going to navigate the connection with the divine feminine. Okay, we've got two cards. Wow, very assertive. Whoa, okay. They want you to know well and truly this has absolutely nothing to do with what they're dealing with at the moment. This has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that they're loving the situation. They have unfinished feelings about it. They're actually really pissed off at the fact that it keeps interfering with their dreams, and they're actually angry now. We have the sacral chakra, the Mars-like energy coming out, where it does come to the heart of this read. Okay, how are they responding to this with the divine feminine? For some, it could be that you're aware. You could very much be aware of what is going on here. They may, for those of you that are in communication, it could be that this motivates them to actually address it. It could be that they're looking in and they're seeing how it's directly impacting you. And even those of you who aren't in communication, I do feel very strongly, it's almost like they're very frustrated at the fact that this is impacting their journey and their choices and their steps moving forward. And although they might not be expressing it outright, they're really ready to challenge this. And some of these circumstances, it does appear to be that has taken them quite by surprise. They could be quite niggly and irritable through this week as they are attempting to deal with these challenges. And again, this is to do with unfinished business associated with an ex with the past tense circumstance and what they need to do to address it. And it's just not really looking pretty in the context at the minute. Where the reference point comes to you, they don't want you to worry. They also feel that, if anything, this has made them more passionate about their future moving forward and what they really do want to co-create, what they really do want to address, and not feeling as though they can be fully grounded until that is directly packed up and put to bed. Don't forget to look at the Divine Feminine read. Yes, we are getting a newsletter update if I can get my crap together by the end of the year. This has been such an intense year. I'm sure all of you can directly relate. We do have the membership I'm working on. It is hopefully going to be open early 2026. To sign up, you can go to the newsletter where you can join the actual link. All the information is directly below. So if you want to come on board and you want to see what it's about, we do have a landing page. You can find it directly on our website. Otherwise, take care. Tell me how this lands, and I'll see you very soon.